Hello. So why don't we do this? You can perform the theme in variation 3.
Yes.
And then we'll have an open lesson on it. So the first thing that I want to just tell you is that this particular piece has such a lovely melody that when it gets in your ear, don't you find like it's like you keep hearing it the whole day practically? It just keeps coming back to you. Do you sense that? Do you?
No.
Do you love the melody?
I love the music.
Okay. Well, yeah. So here's the thing about it. So Schubert had a very short life. You know, he was born in 1797 and he died in 1828. And he decided in 1827, he wrote 8 of these pieces in 2 opuses. And this music actually was not published or printed for other people to share while he was alive. Okay? So it's fortunate that it got published so that we can enjoy it. Now, so the title here, like you said, when you announced what you're going to play, it is a theme, it's a melody, and then it has the variations. And interestingly enough, I want to share this with you. Mrs. Taubman said that every piece is a theme and variations because it's a little bit like doing a puzzle when you're looking for some design and, oh, I see that's there, and you circle it and then you see the same design. So we're going to look at the design of the music to help to make it sound like it's telling a story. Okay? Now, when the piece starts, it's soft. And the music has a certain rhythm to it. And on the first count, when you play, he doesn't change the note. He goes like, you have the cut time, da, da, da. So you have the 3 Ds, right? And the second beat, 2 B flats. He doesn't change notes. He wants you to enjoy that. So when you're playing here, the outline note is the D and then the B flat. And then he kind of goes down, but then he says, no, I'm kind of hoping, reaching for the sky. I see something beautiful. I want to just, that's the most important note because it's the longest note, but it's not on a downbeat. Then again, he says, that was pretty. So he repeats, and then he says, I'm going to stay on that note, but now I'm going to a new territory even lower. You understand? Then he says, let me pick another tone to reach to, but here, that's like a trill figure. Then he comes to rest. And then he says, it's so pretty, let me play it in octaves. So I like the way you play this. Be careful about the pedaling, because I don't know if you were listening to the last master class on Beethoven pieces, but you know Beethoven and Schubert were very, very, very close friends, you know? So I'd like you to see if you could play this part, and then I'm going to help you with the octaves, because I think you did a beautiful job here, but sometimes your foot gets a little like, should I change or shouldn't I change? You understand? So you want to be able to feel like the harmony or and the melody of your fingers is not going to be blurry if the chord quality changes. Like if I'm in a B flat major, then it's okay to keep the foot down. But let's say if I go to F major, I better change. Okay? Let's start again. And I'm going to stop you here and there just to give you a little more ideas about the melody, okay? Play this until the octaves, okay? This word, the letter D, okay? Could you think of a word that starts with D? that we could repeat?
Dog.
Dog or deer?
Deer.
Okay. So what I want you to do is, when you play the first time, because it's what we call the downbeat, could you give it like the most pretty tone that you can make? Because it has to be kind of like, almost like, like everybody's attention, like a little bell. And then, so feel like you had more of your arm and your finger, almost like a fishing rod, like you kind of, you want to hold on to the note, like if you said quarter and then eighth. So they have portamento, but you have to make sure it has a little bit more deeper sound, because I wouldn't say, for example, dog, dog, dog. Dog, dog, dog. Okay? It's like different colors. It's like if I said blue, blue, blue. Dark blue, turquoise, baby blue. You get it?
Yeah.
Let's try that, because I think it will just give you a prettier picture of it. Can you try that? I'll help you with, I'll do it here. Okay? Now, go ahead. Okay. Now, one thing that Mrs. Taubman always said is the fingers that don't play, like the 4 and the 5, they should be on the key, above the key, I should say, not on it, above. And they shouldn't be kind of feeling like, oh, I don't belong here because I don't play the note. But they all want to be friends with the keyboard. So if you start like this, it's almost like some of your weight is not pressing the key down. Some of it is kind of reaching for the sky. We want all the fingers to feel like they're friends with the keys. Can you do that? And make this one almost feel like it could touch toward the keyboard, 4 and 5. Play a little bit more like, let them go closer to be friends with the keys, 4 and 5. Better. And you might have to feel here that like for example, I'll show you with a pencil. If it's level, it will happen. If this part collapses, then the fingers will kind of lift up and want to go away. So just feel like this is, like I said, fishing rod, something like that. Go ahead. And a little higher to start. Uh-oh, they ran away from the keys. Better. Okay, and now don't feel crowded. This is like you don't want to have to squeeze them in someplace. Okay, just let them float down. Right, and that's your prettiest, deepest sound. Like that's the dark blue. Now come up, like up, up, up. And then the same thing on the B flat. And then less on the second. Yes. Now more on the A because it's a downbeat, and lighter on the 2/8. And then the most kind of feel like you can reach for it. Okay, and you see when I reach for it, again, all the fingers want to be friends with the keys. Right, that was nice. Okay, now the second phrase starts the same, doesn't it? So let's see how much you remember about that. Like deeper and more press, like just let it fall, like it's coming it down. Right, and now a little lighter on the 8ths. And then dun dee dum. Beautiful. Now here's the first rest. You see it? It's a little 16th note. Rest, 16th rest. It's very important because, David, if I look at the whole theme, there are 0 rests except for that. So when you see it, let your hand get a breath. Lift. Because guess what? He's not going to start the way he did before. He's going to start on C. And then the trill. Okay? So try doing the T-dum-bum with the rest. Lift. Now that was beautiful. Now when you get to the octaves, the octave, that's all. Okay, now, does it feel easy to do the octave? Does it feel like you have to kind of locate your thumb in 5 and then put it down?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I want you to do. Could you silently just feel almost like somebody said, make your hand like sit on the keys like that. Make sure this knuckle just kind of feels like it went like that. Okay, can you do that? You don't even have to play a note. Just that's right. Now, so do you see that it feels like your hand grew, right?
Right.
Doesn't it? Okay. Now this is what I want you to do. Now that you did that, when you go to play the octave, can you just first feel, watch what I'm going to do, okay? So first I'm going to play the 5. And as I play the 5, I see there are 5 fingers, 5 keys. Right? Now, when I play a bigger interval, as I have to go there, watch this part of my hand. It kind of looks like somebody said, sit down. Okay? So I'd like you to almost feel like when you go to the piano, it's going to open your hand up. Almost like I see the notes, I have enough time, and I kind of feel like it's going to open my hand up. And as soon as I play that octave, there's only one note that really has to stay down from those 2. It's the 5th finger. So this one just said, I played, and then the pedal's going to kind of absorb it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So start like this. First one note. Then you see how your hand's going to, you can start with a 6, 7, and then just to feel what that's like, okay? You want to start with just with the D on the pinky? Okay, now copy what I do. Right, now put your thumb on E, and now put it on D. Okay, now could you almost feel that when you did the D octave, that a little bit like your hand wants to go toward the piano with the wrist can be a little elevated. It can be like a little higher. And the fingers are long. They can be over the black keys. It's almost like they're not going to play it. Believe me that your brain said they're not going to play. You only have to play 5 and 1. Let them cover exactly in front of where you are. Not to the right, because it's twisting you in the wrist, and that makes it feel uncomfortable. Could you play with these long fingers like right over those 3 keys? That's better, okay? Now play the 5 again. Just feel like something just floated down. Right. See, I'm thinking that you're worried that this finger's not going to play the correct note. And that's why you tightened up before you need it. You don't need to be tight. Before you need the note, you kind of got a little stiff. Okay? So play the 5. Good. And now play the octave. Okay. Now, before we play the passage, could you do this? Watch what I'm going to do. We play octaves, even though the fingers are touching, the hand is touching the piano, we really play them from right here. It's almost like if you were in a classroom and the teacher said, do you have a question and you're really shy, would you go like that? It's like, I don't think she's going to choose me, but I know the answer. Can you show me? Can you go like this? Yeah. Okay. Now sit back a little, because I want you to just be able to drop your forearm. This is like one piece. That's why I gave you this example. It's like, drop your forearm in your lap. From here. One piece. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of power there, right?
Right.
And you don't have to do anything, right? So when you play the octave, God gave you a beautiful hand. You can reach the octave. Some students have such a tiny hand that it feels so hard to reach it. You can reach it, but it's almost like you're doing this before you want to play it. Okay? A lot of people do, believe me. So you just want the piano to kind of open you up, and you have plenty of power. But remember, the melody's only on the 5th finger. So the thumb is kind of like play that note, but I don't have to glue to it. Got what I mean?
Yeah, I got it.
So that's the only thing we want to do in this particular, in the theme. So just play as though first, let's do this. Make believe that you're playing the octave, but just play the melody note. And every time you play the quarter, the first beat or the second beat, it's a little bit deeper in the key. Okay? Just try a little of that. Just the right hand. Okay? From here. Melody. Now that breathe. Good. And then less. And then A and light on the eighths. Very good. Okay, now add the thumb, but remember the thumb kind of says, oh, I just have to make the sound, but I don't have to stay there until the next notes. I'm here, and then, see what I did? I don't dig in the thumb. Stronger and then light, because that's going to give it a design. Try that. Then lighter, dum, dum. Nice. Keep going like that. Now stronger on the first eight, now lighter on the next two, dum.
Good for you, Sondra.
So do you get the idea? Let's add the left hand. Do you want to add it from where the two hands play the right hand octave and the left comes back?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice. More than lighter on the two eighths. Good for you. Now change your pedal. Now lighter on the eighths. Now lead. Now the trill's coming up. Dee, da, 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 dee, da. See, that's the one place where I would say pedal, pedal, pedal. Because you don't like this dissonance, do you? Not beautiful. So when you play D and then your left went D, right? Just like almost like your foot is nervous and it's kind of shaking. Change the pedal, change, and then come up. Okay? Because it sounds almost like you got a cold over there because the pedal blurred the dissonance together. Now remember the piano and you go to the octaves and keep your fingers feeling open because if you go like this, it feels scary before you even touch a piano, right? If you saw me in the street and I said, hi David, and I look like this, wouldn't you think I'm scared about something?
Or you scary.
I look scary, right? But if I just like, hi, how are you? And my hand looks calm, right? Then I can feel comfortable. As soon as I do this, I'm nervous before I even did it, before I even played the notes. You understand?
Yeah.
So that's very important. Now you understand about the octaves, right? Let's go to the second part, okay? So here's the melody. He just changed the notes in the bottom, so it would be interesting, okay? So it's a contrast, that's what you could call, okay? So now I have, instead of single notes, then the second choice was octaves, and the third choice is chords, right, okay? So try the chord part and do the same concept. Feel deeper, because this is medium loud, mezzo forte, only for 3 measures, okay?
Okay.
Let's try that. Okay, so let me ask you, that was lovely, but could you show more and then a little up? Like, so these 8th notes are not exactly the same, because otherwise it sounds like this. Hello, hello, hello. And you look at me like, what's the matter? But hello, hello, hello. Oh, why'd you change her voice? Stronger and then less and less. Okay? Stronger chord, then up. So make sure, because you did not have any accents that the composer wanted until you come to the C major chord. And it's not on count 1, it's on count 2. So like the whole audience is like, oh wow, what's that beautiful sound that he just played? You understand?
Yeah.
So look at this instructions, because the composer said, I'd like that to be the loudest moment so far. Try it again. Louder, up and up on the 8th. Down and then less. Now 1, now the most. And feel like your arm helps you, it's not stiff. Now the most on the first beat. Good, now lighten up on the end. Good. Now less, it says diminuendo, and even less. Now back to piano. Here's a beautiful song. Now change your foot. This is the sneaky place where you have to change your foot. And now you're coming back to a memory of the octaves, right? Yes?
Yeah.
Do you want to play the rest of the theme?
Yeah.
So don't forget, for the octave, don't fixate your hand. Like, don't like put it there and get stiff. I'm trying to show you, this doesn't look, but if I feel like the piano kind of, it's a little like a spongy, you know what I mean? It's like a surface that's kind of gonna say, let's be friends with your hand. So you really want you want the 5th finger to be like the person speaking, and the thumb is just kind of listening to the 5th finger. Try that again from the octave. Now something new is going to happen. This one, then you have a turn. Like it's got a lot of little words to say in this little group, okay? Good. Now, when you play it, think that this, you know what a turn is.
Right.
Like in Bach, he was copying he had to learn Bach as a student too. Then he goes back to the B flat. Now you have the little ornament. So you can lift your hand right before the baby ornament. This is all legato. And then when you have, so then I put it all together. And then the G, if you notice, it's not in the same slur, the octave. So if it feels uncomfortable to go from the 16th to that, that's probably why it doesn't feel great to you, because you are trying to connect it. It's like, surprise, here's the octave again, right? Can you try that? Together? Now lift and then play the octave. Yes, that's right. Nobody's gonna hear the lift because you're pedaling and you're gonna do it so secretly. Try it again. Now the ornament is new, and then the octave is new. Good. So I'm going to show you one other thing to add when you practice. Remember this always. When I play, let's say, the 3rd finger, you see my 4 and 5? You can stand up if you can't see it. Can you see my 4 and 5?
Yeah.
Okay, they're not doing this, are they? No. Oh, that feels really like I'm fighting with the keys. So make sure that when you go, like you could maybe even feel that, oh, I can feel the plastic. Well, now I don't have to, but they're really close. And say to yourself, that's a turn. I went from B flat back to B flat. And separate it. Now comes this tiny little ornament. We never had that before. So, and then your arm can kind of tilt toward the piano because you're going to the black note. And then the octave says, me too, but I'm new here. Okay? Because even the composer says, you don't have to connect the octave to the 16th, okay? Do you get that idea?
Yeah.
Now, when you go here, it's kind of like a memory of the same, like more sound in the variation. Now, you see the same rhythm that you had. It's not here anymore, is it? But did we have the dotted quarter with the eighth? Let's look back. Oh, yes. 1 and 2 and 4. And he did that 3 times, right? So then he says, oh, that's so pretty. Let me do it here, but in minor. Okay? Now, what feels tight over here? Does something feel uncomfortable? Is it when you play the octaves or the chords? What happens?
It's when I do
Okay. So what happens like on the first one?
then I feel that
You feel tight, right?
yes.
Okay. So what we have to do is this. Could you almost feel like your hand is comfortable on the piano? Don't play the notes yet, but I want you to almost feel like the hand's ready to play. Okay? And then I want you to just play the octave. First, get your hand just feeling like it's right over the correct notes. Try that. Okay. Now, I noticed that when you play it, your hand is going kind of toward the right. Okay? I mean, there's a camera here that people can see from above. Put your hand there again and see if you can play. That's right, with the second finger is more lined up over the 3 black keys. Now, those notes are in front of your body. Could you sit back from your shoulders? Like, yeah, now lean back like somebody wanted to just walk over you. Okay, now, if you look at your finger here, you see how the 4th finger said, I want to kind of hide, so it kind of gave a curve instead of flat out? Yeah. So as soon as you curve, even if I go like this, I can't open my hand. Watch. Do it away from the piano. Okay? It's like curl your fingers like they were, yeah. Now try to open your hand to make it stretch. It's almost impossible if they're curved. I can't. But if I open my fingers just like they're just flat out there, you know, like that game that you can play, like it's almost like clapping and okay? Look, if I open my hand, I can expand it. So I think what's happening on the chord is these middle fingers are kind of getting tightened up. They need to feel like somebody just said, comb it out, like that. Can you do that to your own hand? Yeah. Make your hand just seem like it's almost flat. Right, now flip it over and put it on the piano. Yeah. Now, don't worry about these guys, because before you start to play, you're doing this. That's making it not comfortable. If you play, just make them all feel like, oh, it's so comfortable to just be touching the piano. I like it. Now, play the octave. Right. Nice. Good. And then just add the second. Okay, and then what I need to do is just say to myself in my brain, I only need to sing on this note. The other ones are just fillers. You know what I mean? It's like it's something that's inside. Okay, try that again. So your octave is good, but these are the fingers that are making you feel not good because they're starting to do this. Don't do this. It's not good. Keep your fingers just feeling like they're calm. Make them feel longer. Right. And now, as soon as I finish the dotted quarter, and then the eighth, go immediately to the new octave because your middle note is identical. It's the same. It's like a twin. I keep playing the F again. Now, good. Now, uh-oh, it's your middle fingers that are getting nervous. You see, if they just feel, again, Mrs. Taubman said, you comb them out. You comb them out. If they're like this, it makes your span, like your stretch is small, and you feel like you can't get the notes. You get it?
Yes.
That's really all you need to do in this variation is make the middle fingers kind of behave. And you say to yourself, you're very smart, there's an F in the middle, and it stays, and it stays, and it stays. Then he says, forget, I don't need middle notes. Bum, 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 bum. Right? Then I have C in the middle with E flat. And guess what? On the next one. C in the middle with E flat. See those two C and E flat? You see that? they are like your secret weapon. Look at this. Just listen. You want to get up for a second and I'll show you what I mean? So here I have the octave. Then that's my outline. Now listen to the middle note. I'm going to kind of play it too loud. But if I go to the piano like this, it's like already, it's like, oh, she sounds scared. The sound is thin, and the melody can't be heard because they all feel the same. They can't feel the same. This one is like you put your finger in Play-Doh and you just sunk it in. And these two are kind of like, they're a little afraid. They don't want to sink into something. They just want to touch it. One is gentle. It's like the inner ones are just like I pick up the pencil. The other one on the pinky, it's like I took the eraser and I'm going like that. It's a different feeling in my body. You know what I mean? One is just like, these are almost like gentle steps, like somebody's sleeping in the room and you don't want to like wake them up. And the melody note is more like, I said so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try it, because I think it's your middle fingers are making you get worried. Try it. It's just an experiment. You know the piece. Okay, now don't get worried. Before you even started, you were worried. Now, does it feel comfortable? Don't go to the extreme, well, this is also tight. But just, do they feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Now, okay, we don't want the thumb to be the melody because we first have to show it here. Later on, Mrs. Taubman told me when you get to the measure over here, the measure 59, that you could play the thumb melody because that's a repeat. Okay? But in the beginning, you want the audience to hear the melodies on the pinky. So keep your middle fingers friendly with the keys and not being scared looking, and try it. When you practice sometimes, and I just think also, do you know, we call this twisting, because make believe this is a street, and somebody said start walking, and when you get over here there's a stop sign, but then if it's safe to walk, keep walking. Not like this, you get to the stop sign and turn right. No, over here you have like, it's called a carpal tunnel, and it's like the blood has to flow straight down the limb. Okay?
Okay.
So I think these two, you could play, balance, listen, your ears are very sensitive. Play, make sure that the 5 is more beautiful than the 1. Good. Make the thumb even lighter. Good. Good. And then what the other trick we do, because then I know we have to stop. The other, it's kind of like a secret trick. When you have new tones, like for example, when I had the sforzando either time, then with the pedal down, just get to your new 8th note. Like here, I got to the new one. I get to the new one a little sooner than I need to. So it's not like in the last moment, uh-oh, we're late, we gotta dash. So I don't go like this. No, that's not good. I go to and I got here to the E flat just a split second before I need to be there. And that makes me always feel like I've got so much time. Did it seem sometimes like you're nervous to get to the next notes because you're dashing in the last minute?
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. So do you understand what I'm talking about? Like when I have the dotted note, just about here on the word end, to, ooh, and this one, like, get it ready. We're not going up, we're going over. You're getting the new note over and over and over. Because Schubert liked to sing songs, beautiful songs. And this is a song for the piano. I'm looking, because many composers write with rests. You see this, David?
Yeah.
I'm looking at the melody, you show me a rest.
There's nothing.
Nothing, right. You're exactly right. Even here, it's like he said to somebody, I dare you, can you sing this beautiful melody? And guess where he finally gets him a rest? When he got to the that's a new melody, right? We didn't have that before. And then he says, finally he got to there, to the high F. Then a breath. Because you know what? Was it loud in this piece before? Piano, right? A little forte piano. Look, forte piano. It's not loud. So where does he give you the breath? When you get loud. You have only 2 measures of loud with a breath. And then comes that part that you did beautifully, that pianissimo. It's like, I see a rainbow. Right?
Right.
That's pianissimo, okay? And did you see any rests in pianissimo? No.
No.
So look at it, just look at it like you're reading a story and notice all those designs. And you remember what I told you now about the octave and the chords, about your middle fingers?
Oh, yeah, that.
Right, they're gonna feel long and like they're friends with the keys, and they're not gonna do this. And over here, you're not going to switch and turn to the right, okay? You're gonna, we say that you're always straight with yourself, okay? And then we don't stay on the note to the very, 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 very end and then dash over to the next, because it makes us feel like we're breathless. We wanna feel calm, okay?
Okay.
That was an excellent class.